or today or this week we're just going to enjoy the hedonistic nature of this and get our fuck on.
Are you suggesting that I would not be able to draw my own hexagonal jerk crowd?
And he said if he's got hangy testicles, you kind of have to lift them up.
If I had a robust pussy and she wanted to play, I think yes, I would go in there.
Point at somebody's cock under their shirt and go, shit, cock egg. I mean, there's going to be steam emanating from your pussy.
You're listening to the Wanderlust Swingers podcast with Aussie hosts Kate and Daryl. If you're curious about exploring your sexuality or the swinging, hot-wifing and non-monogamous lifestyle, you've definitely come to the right podcast. Or maybe you just love travel adventures. Either way, we share our personal, sometimes juicy, sexy stories as well as swingers club and event reviews, interviews with other sassy people, and of course our global swinging adventures. We try to bring you a look into the diverse lifestyle that the swinging and non-monogamous community has. We hope you enjoy. Now let's get into the episode. G'day guys and welcome to episode 136. This is our second part 2 of a 2-part podcast.
Yeah.
Boom.
Nailed it. Only 2 days of practice.
Only 2 days of practice. We're going to talk about Kapdag. We're going to talk about our final few days at Kapdag. We're going to talk about who goes there, how it's different. I'm going to give you 5 more tips to surviving Cup and if we recommend it or not. But before we get started, you know what I forgot last time, Daryl?
What?
A cultural tidbit.
Oh, you did?
I
so
forgot
you got to run 2 this time?
I got to do 2.
Okay, so we're talking French cultural tidbits, are we?
I was a little bit upset that I missed this opportunity. I got to be honest. I was listening back and I thought, oh.
It's horrible. I actually felt the whole podcast was a letdown because you didn't put forward. You
should see how many emails we got about the lack of cultural tidbit.
I'm guessing 0.
There was 0.
Yeah.
Penny tried to send me one to make me feel better, but, she doesn't have opposable thumbs, so it didn't work.
Yeah, she couldn't put a space in between anything because of her lack of opposable thumbs. So
I love you. Thanks for trying, Penny. All right, you ready for this? 2 cultural tidbits.
Yes.
Did you know that a volcanic lava flow from an eruption 1 million years ago created Kapdag?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't around for it, believe it or not.
You didn't know that?
No.
No?
No, I mean...
Do you feel better now that you...
No.
Do you feel better for knowing this information now?
I mean, it's not a shock to me given that at some point in the last million years, probably most of the land masses were made by volcanoes or something like volcanoes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. Any geologists out there listening to the podcast, please feel free to tear me apart. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 million years ago.
Cool. Thanks for that culturally useless tidbit.
I feel like I should put a pause in here.
For the next one.
Pause for suspense.
Yeah, just pause to let people get their thinking done about how insightful this is.
I know that was so shocking to you guys, and I know that you are
Can we have
at
the next
the
one?
edge of your seat. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. In the early 1970s, the government drew up plans for the development of the coastline. Naturism initially had no part in these proposals, but Paul Rene Ultra, one of the brothers, persuaded the authorities to include plans for a naturist resort at Kapdag, and in 1973, the beach was officially designated as a naturist beach.
Well, there you go. One of the brothers. I mean, I don't understand why you added that.
Because that was the founding little government group of people that created the whole area.
Gotcha. So there's other brothers involved in this as well.
There's other brothers, but they don't get a mention here.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cheers, Paul.
1970.
1973. Appreciate what you're doing, man. Appreciate what you've done.
Yeah, actually, I mean, how old was Paul at that point?
I don't know.
Paul may be now around and looking after the joint.
Paul maybe. Maybe he is.
Maybe we should look Paul up.
Maybe we saw Paul's cock on the beach. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he was in a masturbatory circle.
Maybe he was. All right, guys, are you ready? We're going to talk about the remaining days. Days of our time at Cup.
The end of days.
The end of days. Very interesting you say that, Daryl. So day 3 is where we're up to.
Day 3.
Day 3. We had lunch at the beach, which was quite lovely. Little restaurant at the beach. Nice, right? Delightful.
I don't remember that. Did we? Oh, yeah, no, I do remember that.
Yeah, we actually got the last table.
Yeah.
Then we got the last table for lunch because they were like, do you have a reservation? And no, we don't. So apparently, you really need to book at these places, and that'll carry on in a second.
If you'd like to do that online, there's no way for you to do that.
Nah.
Or call them. You could call them.
You can actually call them.
Yeah, call them, and then they won't answer.
You can call them. So we went for a walk along the beach, and of course this is a nudist beach, but we went to a specific place called the Baie de Cochon. Baie de Cochon.
Okay, I'm 100% sure that you are mispronouncing that.
The Baie de Cochon?
But it just for the French speakers out there, we realise we're not French. We can't pronounce this. What does it mean, though, Kate? This is what you wanted to get to.
Yes, please. So Baie de Cochon actually means the Bay of Pigs.
Yes.
And this is the particular part we mentioned last episode. One of our tips was that there is a time and a place for sex. This is one of the times and places for sex, and it's called the Bay of Pigs. Why is it called the Bay of Pigs, Daryl?
I guess because there's a lot of pigs running around hunting French truffles.
Hunting French truffles.
That's not what it is it?
No.
No, I know why. It's because it's, I guess, the area of gluttony, and pigs are kind of a symbol for gluttony. And, well, it is. It's gluttonous, gratuitous sex and masturbatory circles.
Yeah.
Like masturbatory circles like freckles on a 16-year-old kid's face.
The interesting thing about this is also because it relates to the fact that there are so many men in this area. And when we were actually talking to one of the people from Spicy Match that run the event, when they said the Bay of Pigs, and I was like, oh, that's a bit full on. And they said, no, the Baie de Cochon in French, it doesn't mean it the way
pigs. It's
like the way Westerners would be like, oh, you're an effing pig.
An effing pig? We're not fucking swearing on this podcast
I don't know why
anymore?
I just did that. Yeah, I don't know why. So if you were to say to someone like you're a fucking pig, it's, not great. But that's not the translation. It doesn't necessarily mean that.
It's kind of it's a little more polite apparently.
Can you explain to people what you saw at the Baie de Cochon?
Well, there was a bit of an offshore island that became the most interesting part of that. It was like knee-deep water. Mm-hmm. So on the beach there was a little bit of fucking going on occasionally, but not like on land. There was a little bit.
Hundreds and hundreds of people out sunbathing, though.
Oh, yeah, if not thousands.
Yeah, thousands probably, actually.
It'd be thousands without a doubt.
I like the little guys with the little vendor carts that were like, maybe 10, 20 metres up the beach every now and then.
Because you never see that at any other beach in the world.
I just liked it. I was like, and then I was thinking, I wonder how if you were to try and like come and get your little vendor cart set up, what kind of hoops you'd have to jump through to do that, I'm
pretty sure they'd probably try and fucking shoot you.
Well, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Daryl. You were talking about the knee-deep water.
Yeah, so there was a little sandbar out, maybe I'm going to say 30 metres from the shoreline, from the standard shoreline, and out there was some people that started to there were some blowjobs going on, and then instantly you couldn't see them anymore. Not instantly, but very quickly, because there'd be a group of men that would circle the sexual event and start masturbating around them, or like slow stroking backhand. I'm imagining I wasn't in the middle of any of these circles, but I'm guessing it was a backhand slow stroke, because that's the weirdest way that you can masturbate whilst watching somebody else have sex, I think.
Mm-hmm. And this is broad daylight in the water, so do you think the backhanded slow stroke is the most bizarre thing that you could do in that circumstance?
No. I mean, we had some friends who were talking to saying that it's no fun to be in those circles anyway, because unless you're at the front, you've got to kind of hear between the dude's legs in front of you.
Yeah, if you're second row back.
And he said if he's got hangy testicles, you kind of have to lift them up.
Right.
Right, and then...
So you want reserved standing in this case. You want VIP reserved standing.
Yeah, and if you're two back, he said you've got to lift two sets of balls up, which means you can't masturbate anymore, so it's a total waste of time.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems downhill from row 2, if I'm being honest. Row 1 doesn't seem spectacular either, but row 2 definitely downhill. Yeah. So, yeah, masturbatory circles, that's the thing.
Now, what I liked watching is that that couple was still doing stuff in the water, but then
I'm using circle here as well. They could be squares.
I mean, could be an oval shape.
I know.
I mean, who are we to judge?
It could be an infinity symbol.
How you choose to stand around in your wank circle.
Masturbatory.
I don't know.
Well, you just made it a circle again.
Oh, in your wank shape.
Wank shape.
Yeah.
Could be a triangle.
Could be a triangle. That seems like a poor use of space, but whatever.
Yeah, and that being the case, it probably should be hexagonal. That's the best use of space for the amount of people to get in that.
You should write to
hexagonal
the dude.
thing.
You should write to the dude that created the naturist part of the village and just make recommendations.
Yeah, well, I mean that way you could fit more of them tightly together as well. You know, like think
And
like
then you could offset the second row,
like a bee's nest. Of masturbatory hexagons.
Yeah, for sure. We need to write about this.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a better way, gentlemen.
Yeah, you could fit. Think of how many you could fit down that beach.
Think of how much more sex real estate you could
available.
be having. I mean, I'm just saying. And, you can thank us later. But what I found interesting whilst we were watching this unfold, a second couple walked out through the water and onto like the little sandbar bit, maybe 10, 20 meters away, and started to fuck. I think they were fucking.
They were fucking.
Doggy style. And
they were starting to F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny? Not swearing on a podcast where you're talking about sex constantly. It just doesn't seem like it goes together, does it really?
No.
No, not really. So they started fucking. And then what I found interesting was the movement. The movement of men from the circle, hexagonal, oval shape. They started to move and start to, what I would say is migrate over to this other couple that were then starting to play.
I know. It was amazing. Like they formed the V pattern from there, like birds do. There was like a V pattern following the one leader of the bird pack who identified the fact that there was another couple there that was putting in a little bit, I'm going to say more effort. Like they were fucking. The other guys was just blowjobs.
Do better, blowjob couple. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I did challenge you to get a bukkake fest going on the beach, and you weren't down for that.
I wasn't down for it. No, and I'll get to that in a second. What I find interesting about talking about this though, and people listening, I'm curious what you're thinking as you're listening to this. When you hear this, I think there is a possibility for people to think, ew. You know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe ew, or I don't know about that consent factor or these sorts of, worrying things. I think it's quite cool. And the thing about going to this beach and doing that is that you kind of know.
You don't kind of know. You fucking know. It's about the only thing that you can find about carp. You can't find any of the websites for any of the locations. The only thing you can find is...
If you Google beta cochon, it will come up.
Is the fact that if you start having any sort of sex on
this
the beach...
on this particular
part
strip,
of the beach, you are going to get a group of men surrounding you. Not a single woman, though. Not a single woman in the masturbatory circle.
In the jerk circle.
Which was actually a bit of a surprise to me.
It is a bit of a surprise. I didn't find
Lift your fucking game, ladies.
Women. So far we're telling them how to circle or shape around some activity. Okay, good. Just so we're on the same page.
The problem is, though, you then end up with a mini circle around the maxi circle. You're now talking about interlinked hexagonal.
Well, because if there's a girl in, say, the second row that starts masturbating,
kind of brings you to a 2.5 dimensional image now, and shit gets weird.
Or an infinity.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Like, you see what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha.
And then they just circle around and see
in the middle.
Yeah, that gets a bit busy there. The traffic lights really should be just give way to your left. That's what I'm saying.
To your left? Look at you go.
When you think about this, or when you first hear about it, you might be a little bit like, ugh. Actually, I think it was bloody cool. I think it was good. I think good for the couples that were doing that. I think good for the people that were standing around.
Well, it's exhibitionists and voyeurs, and from what we saw, there was absolutely zero interaction.
That is important to note here. So although these people are standing around, it's not like they're going to come up and without consent start doing...
Well, I mean, you don't know that, babe. You've never been in a masturbatory circle.
I have not.
Nor have you ever been in the middle of a masturbatory circle.
I have not.
So I wouldn't just jump out there and say that.
Well, in my hexagonal sex shape...
2.5D hexagonal sex
shape.
Square circle.
My question to you is, and I already kind of know the answer, but my question for the listeners, would you want to do something like that? And tell me why.
Would I want to be in the middle of the circle or masturbating around the outside of the circle? I mean, you need to be specific here.
All right. Would you want to be in the middle of the circle?
Me personally?
Just you, yeah.
Just me. Nobody's going to gather around me, so there's no circle. That's just me jerking off in the middle of the fucking ocean.
Then that's just weird.
like a lone jerk circle.
Everybody's like, there's something wrong with that dude.
I'm any fucking shape I want to be, bitches.
You know what they'll say? Oh, that's just that Aussie fuckwit. Don't worry about him.
Backhand slow stroking. Hey, I've got to say, before we get to that answer, I've got to ask the question, and I'm hoping that somebody out there that's listening to us has been in one of these jerk circles. How do you go with the salt? on your cock. Like I'm thinking, like once because you have to walk out over waist depth to get
then you've got
to this
that
area.
salty
then you've got
water.
that salty water sort of, and also if you're jerking it for a while, you're going to wear out the water. Like you're going to evaporate the water. You've just got fucking salt crystals on your cock.
Okay, so you know how we got that little hangy necklace container thing from Spicy Match for the foam party?
Yeah.
Get one of those, but with like a little lube sachet in it, and just rock out there and be like, oi, look, I come prepared with
hang on, so you've got effectively salt crystals on your cock and you just put lube on it. So now you've got salt crystals plus lube.
No. In my little container then,
You're
it's
like a wipe down cloth.
Marathon runners wear that little belt. In one little section, I'm going to have like a little water spray bottle.
So you're talking like the Batman of Jerk Circle now.
Fuck yeah, man.
You're like...
Yeah, here I come. I am prepared.
Well, actually, it's probably starts kind of Batman-like, but finishes a little more Spider-Man-like,
exactly.
Right? Like shooting webs at in people's general direction.
Yep.
Like a lot of webs, though.
Yeah.
It's like you've been spider-faced.
Hey, Daryl, answer the question, though.
Answer the question. Do I wish to be in the middle? You mean with you, I'm guessing, or with somebody who'd actually draw a crowd? Because...
Are you suggesting that I would not be able to draw my own hexagonal jerk crowd?
No, I'm actually suggesting that I would not be able to draw my own hexagonal jerk crowd.
I am so fucking offended by that.
Why? I just said that I wouldn't.
I'm just saying it offended me instantly. I can get up there with the best of them with hexagonal jerk.
I think you'd create a hexagonal jerk circle by yourself if you just started masturbating on the beach. Actually, even just playing with your boobs would probably do it. Do I wish to... I don't actually wish to be in the middle of a jerk circle, no.
No.
Nor do I actually probably even want to be on the outside of a jerk circle.
But you would like me to be
part
of that
but that's
situation.
Different. That's you ask whether I wanted to be involved. I don't want to be involved, and, I mean, you do you.
Right, so you want me to do one, you just don't want to be part of it.
Yeah.
You just want to hear about it or watch it from afar.
I'd watch it from, like, outside of
You'd watch it from the bar.
No, just outside of the Spider-Man shot range.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Cool. I just don't want to be... Cool. I don't want to be walking back in with conjunctive goo-itis of the eyes.
But you're okay for me to...
You got glasses on.
Oh, okay. You could actually rock up with like full-on protective...
Safety glasses.
You could actually...
Just run some safety
Okay, wait,
glasses.
I'm increasing the belt now. So the gentleman jerk person would carry his little water spray, his little lube, and then he'd also have some protective glasses for the lady. I just think it's the gentleman thing to do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about if the lady wants it in her eyes?
Then he has ones that have holes in it with little...
So protective glasses without lenses.
Without lenses.
Yeah,
just
perfect.
for a little...
Just so that they look...
Aiming.
Oh,
just
you
for
could
aiming.
You could just make
like
them a
bullseye.
red circle.
That's the thing I'm trying to say, yeah. Can't you see my hand movements?
Yes, I can, but they mean nothing.
Anyway, enough about that. Hey, shirt cocking.
No, hang on. So you didn't answer whether you'd be interested in that.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah, but I just did.
Okay.
I just asked you. I mean, answer the question.
No, I'm actually not interested in that at this point in time.
Okay.
But the future, who knows? These things change. Yep. I do like it, though. I like the fact that these people are just unapologetically just out there having fucking fun. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Mad props.
And girls.
Hey, shirt cocking.
Shirt cocking.
Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, ladies and gentlemen, you may know that I am not a fan of the shirt cocking. And when we first arrived in Cup, I started pointing out the people that were shirt cocking, and I actually made a game of it. Who could spot the most shirt cocks in a day? We point them out. We say shirt cocking.
No, you wouldn't. You'd say SC because you...
That's right. I would say SC because I didn't want to be rude.
And you didn't ever point them out.
I didn't point them out. I just kind of nodded and like, SC.
You don't just point at somebody's cock under their shirt and go, shirt cocking.
But on the day one, I think I mentioned to you there's a lot, and you were like, nah. Where are you at now?
Yeah, it was a plethora of shirt cocks. But what made it interesting is by the end...
Preach.
By the end...
Tell us, spill the tea.
I understand why they're shirt cocking.
Why are they shirt cocking, Daryl?
For the same reason I wanted to, but knew I couldn't get away with it.
Oh, that would have not been a thing for you.
Because you start to get... So, because you're walking around nude all the time, and for me, I don't spend a lot of time in the sun. So my shoulders and stuff are starting to get quite, not burnt, but just sick of being in the sun. And it also provides a little shade for your dick. Because when you're walking along in the sun, that heat load you normally get on your face and stuff, when you don't have pants on, it goes on your dick.
The sun targets your dick.
And your dick gets quite hot. Yeah, so, I mean, I think I understand the shirt cock now. It holds relevance to me.
You understand it but don't respect it. Is that where
I'm not saying I don't respect it.
I'm asking you. dead in the face hole.
I think it's a deal. I think it's a thing.
You think it's a thing?
I think in certain instances, shirt cocking is an acceptable way to live.
Okay, so you know those old uniforms that had the big, not epaulette things, but I suppose, are they still called epaulettes, the big things that had the tassels and shit on the shoulders?
Yes.
Still called epaulettes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Instead, how about this? You just walk along with a version of an epaulette that goes your shoulder and then the other shoulder and then like the string over the middle around your neck hole, and that's it. So no shirt cocking, but like something to protect your shoulders. Deal? Is that okay?
Yeah, but what about my cock?
I don't care.
Yeah, see, you're kind of missing the most important point
You
here.
can wear a hat.
You can't put a hat on your cock. Oh, that reminds me. Do you remember the dude who had a tuxedo?
Holy shit. Well, that's actually coming up. We can talk about that at the pool party.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. We stayed at the beach club there, Paralia Beach Club. Quite cool if you guys want to go look it up. It's amazing. Liked
online.
it.
Give it a look online.
Yeah, look it up online. And then we went back for the neon party at the Jardin de Babylon, Le Jardin de Babylon, which is where we were staying, and this was the Spicy Match neon party. I had so much fun that night. I mean, you know I like neon anyway.
Yeah, you're like a child in a neon.
But I was like jumping around,
You were.
with the neon stuff going, had my little Spicy Match fan, which glowed in the dark.
Surprised me that night is how many ladies at these pool parties, and let's be honest, beside a pool, generally wet for starters, but also, also in this case, in some places there's like gaps in the concrete and like there's wood areas as well.
Yep.
And there's women walking around in like 6-inch fucking platforms.
Yeah.
7-inch, like they were huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, mad props.
I was like, nah.
I was waiting for somebody to bust something up.
Yep, same.
But nobody did.
No, everyone was.
There was certainly some pussies busted up.
They were. But yeah, I was really surprised by that too.
Yeah, nobody went down. Again.
So many puns.
Yeah, I know. We could pun the fuck out of this.
Oh, I could if I was wittier, but I'm not, so I won't try.
Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on.
So the glow party, I had a ton of fun. I loved it.
You love a glow party.
I fucking love a glow party.
You were angry at me for not going to get glow painted in because we arrived early and there was some glow painting going on, and you're like, go over and get some glow painting. I'm like, there's a line. I'm not fussed about that yet. And then I'm like, I'll wait for the line to die down, and then the line only got bigger all night, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I was okay with the lack of glow paint.
Yeah. It can be a bit annoying later on, but I had such a great time. I was like dancing around, whoop whoop.
Yeah.
And then to finish up this night, so we'll finish up this day rather. This was a pretty big day actually, wasn't it? To finish up this day, we went back to the room, fucked, had anal sex, but the thing that I've written down was filthy talking.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was very filthy.
Oh, I don't think that I've ever dirty talked to you. And again, I'm not even going to say dirty talk. I'm going to say filthy talked to you like that.
It was disgusting. It was horrible. I mean, it was like fucking hell. I had to wash Kate's mouth out with soap after this. It was just, yeah. It was like she'd been in a jerk circle with her mouth open. It was just streaming from her.
No, so we fucked for ages that night, and then we also had anal sex for ages as well, if I remember.
I remember you walking like a very broken cowgirl the next day.
Yeah. And actually we didn't do doggy-style anal. We actually did it where I was on my back as well, which is an interesting position. I like that.
What's interesting?
I just think it's different. Most people, when they do anal sex, they do doggy-style. Yeah, that's the most common.
That's the most common. That's a stat you're running with?
Yep.
The great thing about stats is that 73% of them are made up.
I heard it was 75.
Yeah, sorry, I've got old data.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun that night.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun throughout the whole. I mean, it was a very sexually primed event. We didn't hook up with anyone that night.
No, we had sex with a couple the night before. I think this one was just us playing together.
Yeah, we were kind of looking, but I suppose a warning to everyone. First time round for this location, you can be a little overwhelmed. Like there's a lot going on, right? And you don't know like, should I just walk over and like tap somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, how's about it?
Yeah. And
I think looking back, that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah. I think definitely we should talk a little bit more about that in the second half here, especially cultural differences, because there are many. Anything that stood out to you for that little sexathon before we move on?
I mean, the filthy talk definitely stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, the filthy talk.
The filthy talk. Okay, cool.
And the other thing that stood out is I'm thinking Kate doesn't recognise the ramifications of this.
Let's talk about day 4. So we went to a place called the Waikiki Pool, which we really liked it there. It had a bit more of a desire feel, I think was what I noted down on this. The Waikiki pool.
Yeah, I don't know that Desire's a good... I think it just had I think it was one of the most modern places we went to.
Yeah, true.
In terms of recent renovations or something like that, yeah. So I don't know that Desire's got anything to do with it. I think it's more just that it was a newer place. We liked the layout. The pool looked nice. Not that we got... I got in the pool. Fuck yeah, I got in the pool. God damn.
Because it was a really hot day.
Oh, man, yeah. It was sweltering. And they did really good food.
They did good food. I think if we go back to Carp, that's actually... I'm going to probably hit that place up on day one or even visit there twice in the time that we're there. I really liked it.
I like the way you say if, like I've got any fucking choice in this.
And I will go there and I will get the lounge bed and, like, that's my thing. And I'm going to, like, drink champagne or rosé and I'm going to swim and I'm going to enjoy the beats and the
fucking
DJ.
Rosé. The official drink of Cup.
Yeah, it is really,
rosé.
Isn't it? Everywhere.
I mean, everyone's drinking
rosé. So the Waikiki pool, I really liked it.
Yep.
So we had lunch there. We actually headed then over to Le Jardin de Eden, which is the other resort that was taken over. And again, it's lifestyle friendly. And we just casually hung out in the pool with our own drinks and spoke to a few different people.
Forgot about me going for a swim. I mean, I had a great swim.
How was your swim, darling?
It was fucking spectacular.
Was it good? You enjoyed it?
Yeah, because my balls were sweaty before the swim, and then after the swim, I had left all of my ball sweat in the pool.
That's not true. You showered off first, you little liar pants.
It was so fucking hot that actually the whole trip was hot.
So we went and hung out in the other pool, casual hangout, and then we decided to leave the pool because we were going to go get some food and start to get ready for the evening. That's not why we left the pool. That is originally why we left the pool.
Bull fucking shit it is. You said to me in the pool, got a bit of a twitch like there might be a UTI coming. And what was my response to that?
Get the fuck out
of the pool. Get the fuck out of the pool.
You, out.
Get the fuck out of the pool. We are leaving right now.
Yeah. So by the time we walked from there back to our apartment, it was in full-fledged urinary tract infection, UTI mode.
Yeah, so like within a space of 15 minutes, you were going from, no, it's just a twinge to, holy fuck, my vag is on fire.
This is bad. This is not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that evening, as you can imagine, dear listener, we spent in our hotel room.
Yeah.
Except for when you went out and got food.
In a singular masturbatory hex. That was just me.
That was just you on the couch. Yeah. Like, great.
Just going to sit here and jerk one out.
You went out and got food.
Yeah, that's because if I didn't, you were going to fucking knife me.
If you were to walk out of, say, a Desire room that late at night on your own as a single man, would you feel strange? And then as a follow-up to that, how did you feel going out and cup darg on your own?
That didn't feel strange for either of them.
No, it doesn't feel strange for either. I was just curious.
No.
Okay.
Why would it feel strange?
I don't know, man. You're telling the story.
I'm not sure I am.
Hey, let's finish up our final day. Because, okay, so this is final day.
Yeah, so Kate's vagina's still on fire.
It's still not great.
I'm actually thinking about setting it on fire to see whether that gets rid of the little fucker bacterias in there that occasionally have a bit of a, woo, let's have a party. Oh, what's the side of this urinary tract? Let's have a munch on this. Oh, this is tasty.
Tasty. Final day. Years ago, we interviewed a single guy in Singapore, and we used to call him Pepe. And we interviewed him. He was our friend. He's our French friend, and he was living in Singapore. And then he moved, and obviously we moved and everything else. He came down to visit us in Carp.
Yep.
So he comes down to visit us in Carp.
Came all the way down to try and visit you and your vagina.
And my broken
your
pussy.
Vagina's your pussy's broke.
I know, sorry about that. So we actually had breakfast and caught up with him, which was amazing.
Yes, it was.
So great to see him.
It was, absolutely.
This is why it's so good having friends in the
seen
lifestyle.
For 4 years?
4 years.
4 years. And I mean, he was at Montpellier, right? So which is that right? Yeah, it is. So he wasn't a hell of a long way away from where we were. So he thought he'd come over and say hello. I mean, we always said he was a lovely dude, and this just actually solidifies it.
Yeah.
Although I'm fairly sure he got laid more than once while he was there.
He did. It was great to see him, though. Really, really great.
Yeah,
so we caught up with him for breakfast, and then we just kind of hung out and had a couple of drinks in the hotel, and then we went to the foam party.
We did go to the foam party.
You and I went to the foam party early because we did some filming, which will be on the YouTube video to let you guys know what it looks like. But you really wanted to talk about this last
Well, I actually want to talk about the foam party proper, which we didn't get to go to.
So, do you want to tell everybody what that's like?
Yeah, I mean, so there's an area in the foam party in what's the name of this place?
So this place is called Le Glamour Beach Club.
Oh, that's right,
Le Glamour Beach Club, and it is there's a pool inside, and it's an indoor enclosed area. So when most people think about foam parties, they're used to just like having a pool outside or having a space outside where the foam is pumped in.
This is a nude only club. You have to take your gear. You have to take everything off to be in here. In fact, you can't take a phone in.
Yeah.
This is one of those locations that is totally nude.
Totally nude.
But the foam party area is not a pool area at all. It's actually just a smaller sort of enclosed area where the foam builds up inside this enclosed area.
To the ceiling. Like they've actually got a little...
They've got a net on the ceiling to stop it from floating away. Yes.
And like a plastic door thing to stop the foam also from coming out into the main bar pool area.
Yeah. So this foam party area, though, normally is just full of foam and people having anonymous sex.
Yeah, so it's almost like a dark room.
Yeah,
almost.
but with foam.
Yeah. And on the walls of this, and you'll see this on the YouTube video if you watch that as well, but on the walls there's things like shackles and handcuffs and stuff for people to have some bondage as well, which actually in Le Glamour itself, in the other area near the pool, there's also those on the walls.
Yep.
So that was interesting to me as well, but the anonymous side of it. So go on about that.
Yeah, so I mean, we again weren't in there for that because it wasn't full of foam, but there was some of the people from who'd been there previous years were telling us that it's just anonymous sex. You're just basically wandering around and feeling your way around the room because you can't see very much, and just finding people to fuck, which is, I don't know, it's kind of weirdly interesting for me. Weirdly is not the right way to put it, but the
intriguingly interesting.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good word. But the anonymity that comes with just being in a location that you don't know is kind of cool but scary all at the same time.
But that place, that particular location and the pool and the party, so we spent a couple of hours there partying, got a couple of bottles. I accidentally ordered a Magnum of rosé.
Accidentally.
No, legit, accidentally.
Whatever.
I accidentally ordered a Magnum of rosé, and that was our third bottle too, so you know.
Your third bottle. I had 2 glasses of wine the entire time we were there.
I feel like Pepe was helping me a little bit though.
Pepe
was helping me a little bit.
You? Yeah.
I liked that party. I thought the DJ was awesome.
Yeah, the DJ was really good.
The DJ was fantastic at that party.
Yeah. I think that party was really nice, yeah. So what's your thoughts on the foam area? Would you ever consider going in there?
I feel like that'd be UTI hell for me.
Yeah,
for one reason, for one
forget
point.
UTI hell.
If I had a robust pussy.
If you had a robust.
And she wanted to play.
Yeah.
I think, yes, I would go in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I would obviously be using my voice a little bit more, like, hey, yes, no, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to do that anyway, right?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. I would have to be in the mindset of being very confident at that point in time. And I don't mean body confident. I mean confident in terms of this is exactly what I want and that is exactly not what I want, and using your voice to vocalize.
So you just vocalise your wants,
Yeah,
which is not a strong point of Kate.
It's not a strong point for many, many people, men and women included. So,
but I was being more focused on you.
Yeah, so I definitely think that it'd be one of those things where, you know, those days where I definitely know what I want in the bedroom, or I'm very assertive or whatever. If it was one of those days, then 100% I would like to.
Fucking hell, you know what the chances of overlap of those bad boys are. Normally you want to be the circus master where you're telling other people what to do. It's very rare that you're wanting to tell people what you wish to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
So, I mean, I'm not beating you up. This facts be facts.
Facts be facts?
Yeah.
Laying the smack down?
I mean, hashtag true facts.
True facts. So that party, I liked it. I definitely liked it. I would like to, in terms of pool parties, I would like to again go back to Waikiki and have a pool party there. And again, that DJ was just, I loved it. I loved the atmosphere.
You just like the atmosphere because you're a fucking yuppie.
Really?
Nah.
Yeah, nah.
It's just, no, it was just I think it was a little bit more, it was a little more open, a little bit more, I think it had a little bit more sophistication to it over some of the other places we were at as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, for me, I think the food was one of the biggest draw cards, honestly. The food was fucking awesome there.
Waikiki?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. That night we actually left the pool foam party at Le Glamour Beach Club and actually went and had a nice dinner with Pepe.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We went to a place called Giusetto's. which was really nice. And we just had a really nice dinner together and ordered another bottle of wine and just kind of caught up.
And there was a dude at the bar who was making cocktails for us. It was awesome. We didn't have a bottle of wine. We had cocktails.
Oh, we did actually.
Yeah, because the bartender was awesome at what he did.
But that was our final night. So it was just really nice to kind of relax, chill, hang out with Pepe before he had to go.
Yeah.
Get ready to head back. So that is our 5 days of Kapdag in a nutshell. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about how it's different to other places we've been, who goes there, do we recommend it, and my final tips for surviving Kapdag. We'll be back in a second.
So, hit me with these tips.
Okay, you want my final 5 tips?
Yes.
Okay, are you ready? Are you comfortable?
I can't get any more comfortable unless I was asleep.
Okay, here are my final 5 tips for surviving Kapdag. Be prepared to see things on day 1 that might shock you and become totally normal by day 2. And I have in bold here, bike riding nude.
Yeah, push bike, people riding bicycles in the nude. Day 1, all I'm thinking about is, oh my God, there is a lot of flesh pressed against. Really hot, I might add.
Yeah, bicycles.
Fucking, not bicycles. Bicycle seats.
Yeah, seats.
Like hot bicycle seats, typically black, right? Leave them out in the sun for a while, that shit is going to smolder you. Even if you're just finished getting the ass fucked off you as a woman and you sit on that thing, I mean, there's going to be steam emanating from your pussy when you sit on that because it'll be like from wet to dry in 30. Actually, maybe that's what people are using it for. It's a pussy dryer. And it's also make sure your testicles are dry. This is a thing.
People are onto something.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say. I finally know what bicycle seats are designed like that for. When I first saw somebody riding towards me nude, I was like, what? That's a dude. Where are his nuts? And where is everything going? Right? I don't know. Yeah. And then I saw him ride past and his cock was straight out the front on the little bit of the bicycle seat that comes out the front. And I thought, that's exactly what it's designed for. Brilliant. So his cock was just out front.
Yeah.
So day 1, I was like this.
It was a cock cord, like a Concorde. It's got the nose out the front.
Nice, babe.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. If he bat-winged it as well with his testicles, it would be a fucking cock cord.
Then he might take off. When these people first rode past us on day 1, I was like, fuck, that's so weird. Nude people riding bikes makes sense. Again, it's a nude village. Do whatever you like in there. Nude. And it was so strange. And on day 2, I was like, oh, yeah, there's some more bike ride.
Question for
whatever.
you. Do you think I'm not an owner of female anatomy, so I'm not really across this, but do you think that there'd be a point of ingestion? Like, would there be some of the seats starting to work its way into you after a little bit of riding?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Well,
I think it would be very uncomfortable.
You're telling me that the seam of jeans occasionally makes it inside you. So, I mean, how can sitting on a fucking seat not go inside?
A little bit, yeah. Maybe like a half a centimetre.
Like just the tip.
This is the tip.
The seat tip. Just the seat tip.
All right, yeah. So see things on day 1. Any other examples, things that you might have seen on day 1?
Shirt cocking was another one.
Yeah,
that became
totally
quite
normal by day 2.
The end. Yeah.
Yep.
Shirt cocking was no shirt pussing.
There was
one.
There was one
shirt puss.
One shirt pussing.
Yeah.
But other than that, no.
But that's because pusses are just about all. Most of the puss is on the inside, right? Like most of it. So there's a lot less burning going on there. So I think that's why men are shirt cocking a lot more than women.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Still doesn't make allowances for that. So the season of Kapdag, we mentioned this briefly last time, but the season is 6 to 8 weeks long. And if you want a high concentration of lifestyle people, go with a dedicated takeover, go with your own group and get that wristband access. That is one of my points.
Oh, fuck yeah, absolutely.
For surviving Kapdag.
I totally agree.
I don't know why you would spend your time, 1, lining up, but then 2, if you are truly a lifestyle person and you're wanting to meet other lifestyle people.
If you're wanting to fuck other lifestyle people.
Go with a group because there's so many people there, there's so many parties. It's going to help you navigate it better. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not fucking about when I talk about not being able to find shit online. It's a real thing. If you do your and hey, I would actually like to think I'm fairly good at researching shit.
You're right.
On the Google machine.
Yeah. You Google like no one's business, babe.
Yeah, thanks, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I feel like there's an undercurrent of dishonesty in that fucking response. But anyway, I did a lot of research on trying to find out, what are the places to go, where to eat, all that sort of thing, and found basically nothing. So especially your first time around, if you don't go with a group, you're kind of going to get lost.
Hey, guess what? My top tip, my tip number 3 is on this final list of 5.
What?
Walk around and check out the nooks and crannies under the building because you'll find some additional clubs and places to visit.
Yeah, I agree with walking around and checking out the nooks and crannies. Hunt through them like those truffle pigs looking for truffles.
Exactly.
With your snout just like flicking between the folds of flesh.
Don't do that without consent, people. You're right. You're right. I mean, go with a group because you just don't know. You don't know, and it's so
You don't know
hard.
what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know,
You don't know
people.
what you don't know. If you're not with a group, truffle pig it.
Truffle pig it. My 4th tip on this episode. Are you ready?
You keep asking me whether I'm ready. I don't know whether you understand. I'm here, but
You know what?
I'm with you.
You don't need to get ready if you stay ready. Boom. Nudist village. There is not a lot of pomp by the pool. So even though there's a lot of great shopping in the village, you don't need to spend time worrying about your body jewelry, tattoos, etc., that you might perhaps do when you go to other events, I thought. Don't need to worry about that.
I don't agree.
You don't agree? You want someone to stand out, do something a little bit different?
I like to stand out a little bit.
Okay.
I ran my cock ring on one of the nights.
That's true, you did too. Yep.
I think I don't agree with you.
Okay.
I think if you do you, if it helps you feel relaxed as well, because the other thing is being nude in a group setting like this can be quite
disarming.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So occasionally having something to cover yourself or at least make you feel like you've got some coverage is a good way to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I like that. Thank you. My final one, forget what you think you know about the lifestyle.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
It seems cliche.
Oh, no, a little, you think?
It seems cliche.
Oh, yeah. I forget what you know about. Oh, it's like, you're in the Marines now, boy. Forget what you know about something, something.
Cool.
Yeah. Well done,
Thanks.
Sergeant Shitface. Sergeant Truffle Pig, maybe.
Come on.
Right.
Forget what you think you know,
Oh,
because
come
it is
on.
different, right?
Well, it's not that different. The only difference is there's a lot more open fucking going on.
Okay. So we're striking that one from the.
Yeah, I don't think forget what you know. I think it's just there's some differences in terms of how people party at this event because it's a very hedonist event.
So let's start talking about that then. Let's get off the tips for surviving CARP and let's now talk about who goes there, how it's different, and whether or not we recommend it.
Okay.
Who goes to CARP?
People.
People.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of couples, mostly couples.
Mostly couples.
Mostly couples. There were certainly some single guys. Hashtag masturbatory hexagonal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there were certainly a lot of guys, single guys on the beach.
Well, some of the parties, though, don't allow single men in. So the Glamour Beach, for example, have to be in a couple. Yeah, so.
I think there's typically, certainly in our experience, which is not a good reference set as well, we have to say, because it's part of the COVID era.
Mm-hmm. Which we understand was not as busy as normal years.
It was just different.
We liked it, actually.
Yeah. So there were a lot of, mostly couples in our, when we were there, for sure. I would say generally the couples are generally younger.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I would say below 50s.
Yep.
As an absolute generalisation.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is
I felt like there was a high, like take the Glow Party, for example.
That was a lot younger. Yeah, I mean, there were 20s and 30s. I would say mid-30s, mid to late 30s was the primary grouping of people at that,
I agree with that.
At that event, for sure. But what else? Oh, humans love fucking glow parties. Seriously,
they do. Where were people from in your experience?
All over. I mean, all over Europe for sure. Mm-hmm. People from Asia as well.
Yeah, there was a couple that flew in from Hong Kong.
Yeah, people from there.
There was a couple of Australians there.
Yeah, there were certainly quite a few people as well. There were New Zealanders there. There were a lot of people from
England,
the US as well.
Yep.
Yeah, England fits into
Canadians,
Europe.
Obviously.
Yeah, Canadians as well. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty diverse. Don't get me wrong. I think it was mostly populated by people who were
closer to the location.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, makes sense.
French speaking. There were an awful lot of French speaking. You can totally get by speaking English though in the area, but there were certainly a lot of French speaking individuals there, and also a lot of fucking show offs who can speak like 6 or 7 languages or something ridiculous like that.
Speaking of where people are from, I want to interrupt because we do actually have a question. This is from Darren BBC on Twitter, and he said, "What is the interracial scene like in Cap d'Agde? I'm an American of Jamaican descent and was fortunate living in Germany and experienced the swinging scene in Ravin. Curious what your thoughts were about interracial people in Carp.
So certainly Caucasian would be the standout group in terms of the base standard, but I would say that there were a whole lot of different races there from Asia, from Africa, from all over.
Agree.
Absolutely. I don't think...
Actually, there were some Jamaicans there as well.
There were. It was common enough in terms of seeing black men there that it wasn't... It got past the whole big black cock thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It just became part of the...
Just part of people.
Part of the people. And look, I think France has always been very open. And
France is extremely diverse. If you walk the streets of Paris...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's ethnically from all over.
Yep.
And it has been for...
ages.
I mean, decades.
So that's why I think also Carp is... Do you think that what the diversity that we saw at Carp was more diverse than places than maybe Desire?
Yes, absolutely.
I agree. I definitely think that was.
And I would also say, in terms of the French people that were there and the French people that we were exposed to, typically a fairly diversity-friendly group as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what I'm trying to say here as politely as fucking possible is that there didn't seem to be a lot of racist cunts around.
No, there didn't seem to be, which was good.
Yeah, which is always good.
Which is good. Who else do you think was there? So we said it was slightly younger demographic. We've said the geographically, culturally, from all over the world. Anything else about who goes to Carp Darg? Do you think there's a particular kind of swinger that goes to Carp Darg?
Now, this is an interesting question because I've been pondering this ever since. I was curious as to whether people go there because they wish to be more open sexually, like fuck more at Carp, or Carp is dragging that out of people when they get there.
Right, so is it the cause...
Is it the cause or the symptom?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure because I think we were certainly more hedonistic when we were there, no doubt. Like more open to doing things that we would not normally do.
Yeah, with the sex and masturbating on the balcony, etc., or the patio area.
Yeah, and other things as well. I mean, it was... So for us, it was... Because we were in an environment where we knew that we were safe to do that, we could actually explore boundaries that perhaps historically we didn't feel comfortable doing in the face of potential judgment, right? So I'm not sure which way around it is. I'm not sure whether people travel there because they're more hedonist or people get there and realize they can be hedonist and because of that they become more open to what the environment allows them to do. I'm starting to lean toward the second.
Right.
Because in the vast majority of people that we met in the time we were there, in different circumstances, I very much feel they'd operate in a different way.
That is really, really interesting, actually.
I would say if you look at the places we've been prior to this, like Desire, we haven't been to Hedo, but Desire and Naughty and New Orleans, they're a little bit more... I would say they're a little less hedonistic.
Yeah.
There's still these underlying boundary rules around things that you can and can't do. One of the things about one of the clubs we went to, the La Glamour Beach Party, right, is that it's actually not uncommon to see male on male bisexuality.
I was about to say that.
Which is totally outside of many of the other places we've been.
Yeah, that would be a rarity to see at some of the other places.
In fact, in other places, I feel like you'd be nearly fucking thrown out. I feel like, but I don't. And that is one of the last things in the lifestyle that is kind of not frowned upon, but
a little bit more taboo.
Yeah, and I think because of that, there's an awful lot of men out there who perhaps
want to, but
are too scared to give that a try because they don't want to be then outed effectively inside something that is already a niche. The lifestyle's niche, and then you're going to go even nicher,
right,
and become that the bisexual guy in the room. I mean, I have no issues with male, female, and they bisexuality or whatever it is that you want to do. I always have the same principle. If you don't fucking like it, change the channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to turn around and not look at something that you don't like.
100%.
So with that in mind, I really found that refreshing.
Yeah, me too.
I found that fucking refreshing.
Yep, agree.
That people were able to be their own. Now, again, are the men that were involved in that we saw?
Do they go there because they can do that freely, or are they experiencing that
because they can do it without being judged? I think it's the second one.
It's the latter, yeah.
I don't think that... I mean, certainly around that one, I would say absolutely it's the latter, right? But in terms of people just being hedonist in general, I actually think that people aren't going there with the idea... Maybe the people who go there second, third and fourth time
Well, because they know.
Yeah, they start to understand.
And they go,
this is what I want to do, and I can get away with this here without being judged.
Yep.
Whereas if I go to other locations, I would be. And it's interesting, when we first walked in there, some of the things we talk about that changed from day 1 through to day 5, that were uncommon at the beginning and normal at the end. This is us being judgmental when we first arrived.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And that changed while we were there, which is actually pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I think we grew a lot, definitely from going.
Yeah.
We experienced a lot, but I agree. I actually, now that you're talking through it, I'm starting to definitely agree with you that it's because people can go there and feel like they've got the opportunity to explore a little bit more.
Yeah, which is fucked that it's only 8 weeks a year.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
How is carp different? We've kind of just touched on
all the ways we just described. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. That's the difference.
I would say also, if you are used to going to actual lifestyle resorts and destinations, carp is not an inclusive place because, as we mentioned before, a lot of the different restaurants, etc., are off-site, off the hotel site. So this is not your standard, I'm going to go...
Sorry, when you say inclusive, you mean it's not all inclusive?
If you're used to going and buying a one-in package where everything's included in the price, Carp Dog
does not do that. I'm sure there probably are people I'm sure there's people who offer that as well as part of it, but it'd be very difficult to do.
Very difficult. Other ways that it is differing, I mean, yeah, in all the ways that we've explored already, it's not just one place where you are limited to just at one location on site. You can then go to a party over here and go to a party over there,
or you can walk down the road where there's like 40 parties on the ground floor and pick one to walk into.
So it is hugely different from what we have experienced. It is unique in that, I think, as well. And I don't think that there's any replication of this anywhere else that we've been to.
There's no replication of this anywhere else, period.
Period, yeah. So that's the kind of ways that it was different. For final thing, before we start to get closing out this episode, would you recommend this place and who would you recommend it to?
So that is a really good question because when we first left Carp and we were talking at the train station as we were on our way home, I said I've experienced, I think, all of the things that I wish to experience at Carp. So with my my life methodology of why go back to the same place twice when you can go somewhere and experience something different, I kind of said, well, I've probably done enough with Carp. I've probably seen enough, been enough, watched enough, all that sort of thing. I'm curious about that now. I mean, has that changed for me? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I think I enjoyed the time at Carp, no doubt about that. I think there was a lot of fun. We could have had a lot more fun as well, but I think first time around we were quite shy in terms of how we were operating.
And we probably would have had more sex had I not gotten a UTI. We definitely would have had sex with Pepe as well. So Pepe. So I think that there was a few health things that kind of ruined that as well. But, I mean, we did play with an amazing couple and had a fantastic time.
Yes, for sure. We would have played with them again as well,
We would have played with them again. So I think, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. There could have been a little bit more fun to be had.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just with that couple. I mean, I think so if I look back to day 1 and day 2 at the party, I think the exploratory sex around the pool with a group of people perhaps that we don't know the name of and we just have sex and then walk away would be something that we would likely get more comfortable with doing.
I'm interested in doing that actually.
If we were there, another time. We weren't comfortable first time round. I think the biggest thing, the biggest failing of most people going to Carp, especially people who are not from France or Europe in general, so US or Asia Pacific coming, or Americas and Asia Pacific coming to Carp, the biggest failing I think would be that they only come once, because I think first time around it can be quite overwhelming.
Yep.
Right. And I wouldn't say that we're the most super experienced swinger couple out there, but we've certainly been to different countries and seen different ways that people swing. But it was still quite confronting in some ways, the first party.
Yep. Working in that first day, it was definitely, I've never seen this before. And there is a moment, like you said, it's not judgment. You mentioned it earlier. I think it's a combination of, maybe a little bit of judgment, but it's like, I've never seen this before, and here's all this data that I'm receiving, and I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I'm not processing this right yet.
Is it okay? Is this normal?
Is this making me horny or disgusted?
Yeah, or I just don't know. You got all this data coming, you have no idea what to do with it. So that first day is a write-off because you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then, of course, it takes a bit of time for you to realise if you're there to hunt your peeps.
And then get your confidence and stuff up too, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if you're there to hunt your people, to find a group of people that you can hang out with and spend the rest of the event with, I don't think that's really one of the things you should be focused on at carp. I think carp is a lot more spontaneous than that. Like it's people that you meet and you enjoy time with, and I don't mean just sexually. It's like, okay, at this party I met a group of people that we talked with and we may have had sex with, and that was then. And then tomorrow, we're not around the same pool again, which is very different to somewhere like Desire, for example, where you're around the same pool,
seeing the same faces
every day, generally for 7 days. So with that in mind, I think it's a bit more spontaneous, which is actually a positive to me.
So in that regard then, who is carp not for? Because when we first walked in on that first day, I immediately turned to you with a couple in mind who do prefer to build those relationships over multiple days, don't really enjoy the sex in your face at a club, and I immediately turned to you and I said they would hate this place. I don't think they would do very well here.
Yeah.
And so who would you say? And I'm not isolating them and saying, it's because they're not open-minded or anything like that. That's not the case. It's just some things are for some people and some things aren't.
Each to their own. I think if you are entirely incapable of feeling even some semblance of comfort nude, it's not for you.
Okay. Yep, that's good.
So, I mean, and that doesn't mean you have to be nude or you need to take your clothes off while you're there.
I wasn't all the time.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is if you just cannot get nude in front of your partner, for example, with the lights on,
yep,
it's not the place for you.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah, if you have the ability to turn up to a place and perhaps adapt a little, and draw on some internal courage that you're not necessarily normally using because you're at a sexy event or whatever, then you'll be fine. I don't think that'll be an issue.
Other people I would say it's not for are people who you mentioned before being able to adapt and being a bit more flexible. If you in your journey have very specific requirements, desires, wants, and approaches, and you never deviate.
Yeah,
I would say this place is not for you.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to know people, absolutely know them before you have sex with them. Know them, know their families, know about their life, know what their career aspirations are. This is not a place for you unless you can drop that. I think all of us have the ability to sometimes just go, this is normally us. Like we're normally people, right? We want to get to know people.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But I think we can go to a place and say, fuck that, tonight or today or this week, we're just going to enjoy the hedonistic nature of this and get our fuck on.
Right.
That is a different thing. If you can do that, or if you believe you can do that, or if you want to test that boundary, I think give it a shot. But I also think it's not a one-time thing. You have to go a couple of times, I think.
I also want to say that we're focusing a lot on the sex here, and because that's an easy thing to focus in on. But, of course, you can still go and be in this environment and not fuck people. That's obvious. So if you want to do that,
that's fine.
Go for it. But I think if you're going there with the intention of finding people
to actually explore. If you're a fucking voyeur, this is one of you would love this place.
100%.
Seriously.
Yeah. Get your ticket now.
Yeah, fuck yeah. If you're a voyeuristic couple, as an example, you will not stop fucking each other during this because you will see this during the day and you will disappear to your room every hour, I would think, to get your shag on.
And if you're an exhibitionist couple, shout out Frenchies, then this place is definitely, your bag.
Yeah, it's definitely your bag as well because you can be the center of attention wherever you are.
Yep.
Which is awesome as well.
So that I think that's a good wrap up of Cup. Anything else to add before we head out?
No, nothing from me. I think I, again, was a little perplexed as to whether I would want to go back, just purely, again, doing the same thing twice. But I think on my own advice, you have to do this more than once.
And I don't think it would be the same thing twice, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and then we'll close out the episode. So before we head out and finish this episode all about part 2 of our Cups
This is part 3 of part 2.
No, it's not. Stop it. I have not said thank you to our patrons now for about a month, and I just want to make sure that we're giving you guys all the props that you need.
Is that we have not said? I mean,
We have not. That's my bad.
Some of them actually enjoy me as well.
So, want to say biggest thank you to our newest patrons, Flirt and Fun Couple, Hubman and Veronica, Sharon, Roy, Just for Pleasure, Gunther Tits, Voya, Henry, Philip, Clint, Victor, Wade, Sid, and Deb and Bob. Thank you so much for joining us on...
Gunther Tits. I fucking love it.
Thank you so much for joining us on Patreon and being our supporter. And obviously, thank you to all of our existing Patreon members. We appreciate the hell out of you. If you guys are looking for more information about CARP, I will be hopefully editing the YouTube video very, very soon. And once that's up and rolling, you'll be able to see that on our YouTube. If you're wondering how to get to our YouTube, just head to our website, wanderlustswingers.com, and there's a video section with a link there so you guys can head over and see that. And anything else that you have to mention on today's podcast, Daryl, before we head out? Actually, we are going to Germany, Austria, and Italy in a week's time with Jay and Angie from the Average Swingers.
Yes, we are.
So we're going to be doing that. Lots of funness.
Yeah, there's going to be an epic amount of booze and food and just hanging out with people who we love the company of.
So we'll be away for about 10 nights of just, get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Punching my liver now to wake it up.
So here's the thing. I want to put a little prediction on today's podcast episode before we roll out.
Okay. Hey, before we roll out, one of the things we should mention is that it took like 2 weeks for Kate's girly bits to get back to normal after the massive UTI that she had.
Yep.
Just FYI. So, again, for you ladies out there who are suffering through this, Kate is again about to put together another, blog or episode around keeping your pussy healthy.
I am going to be doing that because, yes, there was a visit to the gynecologist, some additional testing, swab testing, all the whole thing. So
I even had to hit it with a hammer once just to try and get it fucking
organised,
organised, and it wouldn't listen to me.
So I will be doing
Apparently
that.
I'm Penny's alpha, but not your for JJ's alpha.
Exactly.
Yeah. Every man out there is so surprised right now.
So I will be doing a pussy health episode soon. But my prediction for Jay and Angie's visit. Jay is a beer drinker. Jay drinks Coors Light. Jay thinks that he's going to come to Germany and have a couple of Steins and have a merry good time.
In a leader Stein sort of fashion.
This is their largest international trip, right?
Yeah, I think Jay
you feel where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah, from 2% alcohol to 12% alcohol.
In
I
jet
reckon
lag.
he's going to have a real fuck. It's going to be epic.
So Jay thinks he's going to roll up into Europe. He's going to roll up into Germany
He's going to rock on in.
After being on those flights and he's never suffered jet lag before. So he's going to be suffering jet lag for the first time in his fucking life. He thinks he's going to come in and drink a couple of Steins. What do you reckon is going to happen? At what point do you think that you, Angie, and I...
Well, Angie and I have already discussed this privately in a separate chat away from you two. And what we understand fully is that we are going to be the only people keeping you people standing upright on the way home from the very first night.
You reckon that's it?
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely. Yep. You're both going to be total, because you're a lightweight.
Yeah.
And Jay always drinks beer until he falls over. But in this particular case, he's going to overshoot because he can drink a lot of beer quickly.
Yep. Coors Light.
Coors Light, right? Exactly. So now when you talk about a true German beer that is between, 7 and 12% alcohol.
15, yeah.
He's just drunk 3 times what he would normally, if not in the same time frame.
And then you've got the comic value of the big Steins as well.
Yeah.
So you've also got that. I'm on holidays.
Yeah.
I'm tired and I'm jet lagged.
Oh, it's going to be.
Plus I'm excited.
It's going to be epic.
But also then I've got this huge, glass and oh my God, this is so exciting.
But I can just see you singing whilst swaying the glass from side to side and then taking a sip out of it every 3 swings. And then before you know it, you and Jay are both swinging your way home.
And then you and Angie tuck us into bed and fuck off and do something fun.
No, and then Angie and I go and have another drink somewhere else.
That's my prediction, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if it comes to fruition.
I absolutely believe that Angie and I will eat a meal together or have drinks together without either of you guys because you're both fucking smashed.
Because we're napping.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to mention is that Daryl and I right now are on a diet and I'm hungry. I'm so hungry I could eat the crotch out of a low-flying duck. I'm not even joking.
I'd actually just want to see you eat the crotch out of a low-flying duck.
Yeah, man, I'm hungry. I'm actually hungry right now. That's why I'm saying it.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cool story, bro.
It was time. We needed to go on a diet, and obviously this trip to Europe is going to...
fat right in my face.
Oh, this trip to Europe is obviously going to put a little bit of extra on, but I have a target in mind for heading to PCAP in Dallas this November, and I'm hoping I'm going to reach that.
I'm just going to masturbate my way down to my goal weight.
You should head back to CARP then. Getting the...
Oh, no, I don't need carp for that. I'll just fucking roll over.
No. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode. We really appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you. Feel free to drop us an email on cand@swingingdownunder.com. But otherwise, that's it. Got nothing else for you.
No. So, tschüss.
Tschüss.
Ciao.
Ciao.
That's it.
Auf Wiedersehen.
No.
Au revoir.
No.
No?
I was only going to give them... Oh, it's too late now.
It's too late now.
You've broken it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.